Greetings, denizens of the tri-state area. Jacob Weil here.
And Blue Dragon 5.
And Dragon, I know what we're going to do today. We're going to activate the Recap-inator and discuss my favorite cartoon, Phineas and Ferb. That's right, in honor of the 15th anniversary, and in preparation for the upcoming revival, I'm guiding Blue Dragon 5 here through the series, experiencing his reactions, watching it for the first time, and reliving my summer memories throughout the years. And tonight's episodes are Traffic Cam Caper and Bowlarama Drama. First up is Traffic Cam Caper, the story by Martin Olson, written storyboarded by Kim Robertson, Mark Zaccarelli, and directed by Dan Poppenmeyer and Zach Moncrief. So, the Dragon, Norm's back.
Yes, he is.
So, but how are you coming down on this episode?
Well, for starters, I just noticed something.
Yeah,
Traffic's misspelled
it is.
in the image. Yeah.
Whoops.
All right.
I
So
I can fix that real quick. But go on.
so yeah. So this is a fun crossover episode of our A and B plots, for sure. You know, it's a fun one. I got to admit, I rewatched it though. I kind of found some stuff like, yeah, this kind of stuff that makes you think a little bit. It's kind of logistics of of kind of the usual run around with Candace. It's like, I think the repetition's really starting to show here a little bit, and I know we're definitely shaking things up in a big way here, and that's why it's on my mind when watching the episode again. It's like, I think maybe we're writing the boys a little too naive in this episode. Remember, it's kind of the thing of like, okay, we did that big Candace Dream episode. That's as far as we could possibly take him. We had to get out of jail free card, but now it's just like a case of like, okay, well, we can go up the line occasionally. This is as far as we're going to go, and then eventually you'll get something like, across the second dimension.
Yeah.
Yeah. Where we'll kind of break things a little further, but I don't know. It's just kind of interesting to me.
Yeah, I can see where you're coming from on that. Like, naivety isn't always an issue for the boys when it comes to like dealing with Candace. I mean, they never realize that she tries to get them in trouble, but it's not something that's always explored.
Yeah, and it's really apparent in this one though.
I mean, I'm not like look. I'm not denying you on this one. I'm denying you there, Dragon. I'm just saying it's not necessarily something that's always explored.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not necessarily naivete later on. It's just more general obliviousness.
Yeah.
which, like I said, it's not as heavy. It's not usually used as heavily as it is here. Like, she doesn't like. You know what I'm trying to say, right?
Mm-hmm.
All right, and I fixed the error.
Yep.
So thank you for pointing that out. So as I said, fun crossover. We actually get to have interesting intersection of the A and B plots here in a pretty interesting way. So, I think it's pretty fun. So, want to just get into it then?
Let's do it.
All right. So, remember how I teased the elevator to the moon a couple episodes ago?
I do, and I did notice that payoff here. The fact that the elevator to the moon was actually called out.
Yep. I think it was an escalator to the moon they previously came up with, but maybe they was like, oh hey, we can't breathe in space. So elevator.
Yeah.
But yeah, how would you like to go into an elevator and go just ride an elevator to the moon?
Well, if it were safe,
I mean, of course remember they always have their permits.
I think Ed and Eddie had an elevator to the moon once.
Well, at least they tried.
Oh, yeah, they did try, yeah.
Like, I don't think they actually made it.
Actually, I don't know. Did they make it? Or at least they got close to it, didn't they?
I mean, I don't remember it. I have to rewatch Ed and Eddie, but I mean, I remember the episode where they broke reality. But,
oh, we all remember that one.
I mean, it's like one of the best ones.
Yep. They removed Jimmy's outline.
and ate the sun where it became the moon.
That's great.
But yeah, it's like then. But I don't remember. I remember like where they like didn't like stack boxes on top of each other to reach build something to the moon or something.
Yep.
It's kind of ironic considering a future episode of this show. But anyway, more foreshadowing.
All right.
But so like they get to the moon. Of course, they even show their spoils, where moon rocks and the American flag, which technically shouldn't be waving, considering that they like put wires in it so it didn't like fall because of gravity.
Yeah.
But artistic license.
Sure. Anyway, so the boys, we see the this is an interesting layer we kind of add to things here, where the boys are never believed as well, despite them being forthcoming. It's kind of a thing where Candace is like always trying to rat fink them out in like a really negative, like a real negative way, where the boys like, hey, we did this today. He says, oh, that's nice, and they're just not giving them any time of day there. So I think there's a bit of a missed opportunity there, perhaps. Like I don't know, we kind of explore a little bit. Just we kind of scratch the surface on where Kansas is like seeing like, no, they don't believe them either. But we don't
Yeah,
really kind of dwell on that.
again, Linda always like just chalks it up to their imaginations or thinks it's more innocuous than what it actually is. I mean, as you kind of did see in Get Busted.
Yeah.
Even though that was technically a dream within a dream, it isn't still technically it's not similar to how she would actually behave. Like it is, you know, she obviously thought it was like something innocuous when in reality it was transforming their car into the flying car of the future today.
Mm-hmm.
And here it's just like she just honestly thinks that them building the elevator to the moon was them using their imagination.
Yeah.
Rainbow hands and all.
Yeah. So the crux of this episode is, I believe, if I remember correctly, Lawrence. I forget if these Lawrence has gotten a ticket because of the new traffic cam they installed in the
Yes.
neighborhood.
And if you listen close, he's like, "Remember we drive on the right side?" They're like, "Yes, so you tell me."
Lawrence may not be the best driver in the states.
But he's probably better driver than the majority of the ones in Ohio.
Yeah.
It's Ohio. It's an Ohio thing.
Yeah. All right. So. Candace sees an opportunity here, but also as Candace sees an opportunity, she's about to be put in contrast, on opposite sides to our dear striking platypus friend.
And because of course, not only did it catch Lawrence's driving Phineas and Ferb's projects, but it also caught Perry's entrances as a secret agent.
Yeah, so that's not good. So basically, it's interesting is given the whole Candace and Perry have been really paired together a lot recently. Mainly last episode when she did the old brain switch story with them.
Yep. And we actually do get to see them briefly interact. And I wanted to say it last time, but like as you can see here, it's like she doesn't actually hate Perry, as I mentioned.
I know that's the thing, but again, like consistency though, where so she's petting Perry, where before it was like, get this thing on my bed.
But like I said, to be fair, I mean, she didn't want Perry in her bed. She doesn't hate Perry. She just doesn't want him sleeping on her.
Yet the boys love that platypus sleeping with them.
Well, yeah, I mean, people are different. People have different opinions,
All right.
But yes, like as you can see, like when Perry was trying to steal the disc from her or take the disc from her, she's like, "Oh, Perry, look, it's so wonderful," and she just like basically gives him a bear hug.
So Perry is in a position here where he can't take that thing because the family's around. He's going to get spotted. So what is Perry at platypus' solution?
Well, he makes a quick stop too. Doofenshmirtz Evil
Incorporated.
After hours.
I love that.
Like I thought you'd get a kick out of that one. After hours.
So Doofenshmirtz.
We do hear that at least one or two more times in the series.
Oh, good.
That's not the only time we hear it.
Doofenshmirtz has a grind guard.
It's like it's the precious of an life. I need a grind guard.
I like that. It's relatable.
Like he grinds his teeth in his sleep, like.
So he's too tired to really argue with Perry Platypus this time of day.
He's like, you're not even scared to defeat me until tomorrow.
So, you still want to borrow Norm?
All right. So yeah, we get Norm back.
Good old Norm, voiced by the incomparable John Viner, the orange juice guy.
The orange juice guy.
Yeah.
I don't even know the orange juice you're talking about.
All right, so
I mean, I know you told me, but I'm more familiar with him as a writer on Family Guy.
so here's kind of ethical is the wrong word, but here's a question about Norm.
Yes.
I guess about his sentiency. So we have Norm here as a suit versus Norm as an android. It's basically kind of like mech versus android here. So I mean, it feels like we kind of I don't know how I feel about that because it kind of adds some ethical questions of like is Perry the Platypus like kidnapping Norm? Is he like he's inside the body, but the body is very distinct in personality? Like how much of the episode is like Norm, and how much of it is Perry just walking around with, like basically in an oversized mech that talks?
I think it's basically just Perry controlling him and just Norm just going along with it.
I guess I mean, yeah, it's very different than how we were first introduced to Norm.
Well, Norm, as you'll see throughout the series, Norm has a lot of different functions.
Okay.
I mean, it hasn't been established yet, but his heart technically is a hamster wheel.
Hmm.
Actually, yeah, run up with. Actually, it's a hamster wheel, but it's powered by a squirrel.
It was Squirrel Will.
Yes, technically.
Squeal.
Yes.
Okay.
But yes, so it's not out of the ordinary to have. And this is this is the first time that Perry operates a robot, as he actually does operate more robots in the later episode.
Hmm.
But I don't really see where the ethical conundrum comes in.
Well, no, Seattle Conundrum is like, Norman. I don't know if Norman really consented to this happening. If he's sentient, if he's not sentient, but it's more of like, I guess, more of like a retcon sort of thing than is like an ethical thing.
And then I don't think, obviously, this is only a second appearance, and I don't even believe he appears in the rest of this season. So then, actually, he does appear in at least one more episode. And I think that's when they gave him more of a personality.
What I'm saying, it just feels like we had a story needs like Norm's a robot. Well, yeah, but he's like a mech. Like it doesn't matter, still a robot. Okay. You know what? Throw it up on screen, Jacob.
All right, let me guess. Message or
yeah, message, yeah. Dan, Swampy. Question, guys. What the heck, man? Really? I mean, we had Norm as a robot. We have Norm as a suit. Robot, suit. Is he an android? Is he a means of conveyance? What's the deal? Is he like Kit from Knight Rider, or is he, or is he like an ever-loving, friendly robot from the 50s? Why? What's up, guys? I mean, come on. It's only second appearance, and we can't keep this straight. What happened?
Well, it becomes more consistent as the series goes on.
Well, I would hope so. I hope they're in the room after this, and Dan saying to Swampy, "Hey, Swampy, yes, Dan." I just realized something. What? We goofed up on Norm. We went back. He was a robot, and now he's a suit of armor. Now he's a suit of armor that talks. Oh, you're right. That doesn't match at all. What are we going to do? Well, we're going to run more consistently in the future. Okay. What do you want to do now? Let's get donuts. Sounds good. Let's do it.
All right, back to the episode.
Yes. So, let's see. So,
okay. Meanwhile, at the OWCA.
Oh, at the OWCA. So, Major Monogram, he basically sends Perry out on this mission, and meanwhile, he's hanging out with all the other agents.
And Carl.
And Carl.
Yes, and Carl.
Yes, so he's hanging out with everybody, and basically they're passing the time. I love Monaghan's like questioning, like, why are all our agents animals?
It's like, all we can do is wait and hope, sir. Yes, and hope and wait. Already did wait, Carl. Are we done hoping yet? I didn't do all this to do a vaudeville act with an intern.
Jacob,
yes.
Throw up the graphic. Carl's in hot water again, Jacob. He's taking off Monogram, and that means replacement time.
Yeah.
Let's see. Who would Monogram want for Carl in this situation? He doesn't want someone who's gonna kind of yes man him in a stupid way. He wants someone who's actually gonna someone's gonna agree and let it drop.
Let's see. Like, what about that? What about SpongeBob's Carl?
You know, I think that'll work, but I think there's a risk of still like Carl from Phineas and Ferb. I think we should go for Carl Carlson.
Carl Carlson.
Yes.
Okay.
Okay, there we go. All right, back to the episode.
Back to the episode.
So let's see. Of course, the robot needs oil, and I just love the mundanity as the Perry has to refuel the giant robot. Speaking of which, when the giant robot broke in the house and took the disc, I love that one, the robot has its own theme music, and two, the robot put it in his giant wallet. That's my favorite part of the episode.
I mean that's just a great visual gag.
I laughed so hard at that wallet gag.
It's like, I'll take that. And
why does he have a wallet? Where else is he going to keep his stuff?
Exactly. I mean, Norm needs a wallet. It's like, I'll take that. And of course, Phineas, Ferb, and Candace are all like, "What was that? I don't know, but it was cool."
I want one.
Like, would you want a giant robot man like Norm?
I mean, maybe not giant.
Okay, how about a human-sized Norm?
I mean, if I were sure he wasn't going to kill me when I slept, maybe.
Yeah, I'm sure they have programming for that.
Sure. Anyway, so again, this is where we get into the part of the episode here, where again it's kind of the kind of problem in quotes, because I know it's kind of like one of those things where at this point, this is where I'm looking at the boys like they go from naive to really oblivious here, like full on oblivious. It's a bit much for this episode, where it's like they're teaming up with Candace, who outright is just saying, "Hey, I'm going to bust you. You're going to help me bust you. Yeah, it'll make you happy." I know they say it's to make her happy, but still, it's like, guys, it's like you kind of want to like sit them down, like Phineas, Ferb. She's trying to hurt you. She's trying to bust you out of spite. Okay.
Remember, they're also eager to show to mom and dad, so they might not fully understand the implications.
I don't know. I mean, I think she was pretty direct. Like, you help me, like do this. I'm pretty sure she even says, "By you want to help me bust you." It's like right there. It's like she just said, "You want to help me bust you." I mean, like, do they not comprehend the word bust? Do they not get it?
Like, stop playing with my bust.
It's just that. It's just that the boys can build like an elevator to the moon, and yet they don't understand the word bust.
Like, I don't know, Durant. I guess they're just being good brothers. They want to see their older sister happy.
Yes, but at their own cost, their own misery, and this isn't like a sacrificial misery. This is just like, we want to make her happy because she's very deluded.
Like I said, they may not, as I saw, they might not believe that they're going to get in trouble. I said they just see it in this situation as just showing it to their mom and dad.
I don't know. It's still just, that makes it like, that doesn't track, man. That does not compute. You know, that fry Norm's head right there. It's like, wait a minute, they want to help, but it's going to get them in trouble, and they don't know it's going to get in trouble. Yet they can build all these amazing things and they'll accomplish all these amazing feats, but they don't get it. Because the usual thing is like, they're gonna factor in, like, okay, well, they have a technicality for what they add. They get permission to do what they're gonna do, but mother never believes in or understands fully what they're doing. So that misunderstanding I get, but this whole Candace thing, like, I'm going to bust you. I think we know the draft of the episode, but it's a little late for that, so we're just gonna move on.
All right.
Okay. So, point being, it's a little caper now. We're chasing the robot, getting the disc back. Of course, there being a disc takes us back to the early 2000s, which is nice.
And of course, first they just tried chasing them on their bikes.
Then we use like a rocket engine.
Which, of course, they just strap a giant rocket engine to it to catch up.
Yeah.
Which you got to admit, it's a good thing we had a spare rocket engine lying around.
Ultimately,
what?
No, go on.
No, I said like, that's convenient, isn't it?
By the way, here's a question for you. When I have like the big scene on the bridge, which we go to in both episodes, by the way, go like a little separating kind of like boat bridge.
Yeah.
We have Norm saves Ferb, because Ferb's like slipping on the oil and like he says this is not safe or
Oh,
something like that.
like, well, remember, technically it's Perry.
I know that's what I'm getting at. I'm trying to. That's what I'm posing the question. Like, do you think that's Perry or that's Norm saving the boy?
I think it's just Norm saying like that's not safe. But
I mean,
then but Perry just is taking the action of saving Ferb in that regard.
okay, so literally, okay, so he's just saying that while Perry's doing the legwork.
I mean that's how I saw the whole episode really with the whole Norm controlling Perry thing. Like basically he's like
Norm's along for the ride, is what you're saying.
yes, like
Okay,
Norm's just basically observing all this and commenting on it.
all right.
Of course, like, and of course that leads to Candace and like Phineas actually trying to go after her too, and missing the disc and slipping. So
Yep. So then we have like the big Last Crusade choice.
yep, and of course Candace.
She picked the. Oh no! Here's in the Gritty reboot. Jacob put up. Here's how the episode ends in the Gritty reboot. Okay, Candace is faced with a decision. We have, her brother is dangling precariously with oil all around him, and oil from the robot, and he's slipping. He's like, Candace, help me! Candace has a decision to make. She gonna go for the brother. She gonna go for the disc, and after a moment of contemplation, she goes for the disc because she's crazy as a loon. Phineas in his last moments is going like, "What? Why?" He falls. Candace is like so obsessed, like, I have the proof. She hears a splash, and then she realizes, oh god, what have I done? He's like, it looks at Ferb is standing in awe, just gasping, and then oh god, Candace is something horrible. Do you know what she does?
What does she do?
So she walks towards Ferb, and she hugs him, and she sees like some oil on the ground. She basically slides him over the side. Then goes home, and like here's the thing. She tells her parents the boys ran away, destroys the disc. There's no record of them. That was her trade off. Like, I've done something terrible, so I won't bust them. It was all for nothing.
Yeah, at least you threw in some remorse there.
Oh yeah, there's gobs of remorse, right? Yeah, she's not a monster. She's just insane.
Yeah, that is pretty gritty.
Yeah. Okay. Back to the episode.
Back to the episode.
So in reality, what Candace does here is she saves.
She of course says Phineas.
Yeah, thank goodness she saves Phineas.
I mean, she's like, you may be a pain, but you are my brother. I mean, let's face it. Let's face it. That's like a totally an older sister thing to say.
It is, but you also have to realize too. It's like this is one of those examples where we're really flirting with status quo shifts here, but we realize like if we kind of nip this whole thing in the bud, the show's going to end. We can't have that.
Yeah. But what something miraculous happens, Dragon? What happens?
Ferb.
Ferb saves the disc.
Yes, he's in a little familiar the kind of whirly bat thing. He's in a little kind of helicopter whirly pack.
Yep. It's like, way to go, Ferb! Yeah.
Ferb just kind of flies off, and then the real Ferb climbs out from the bridge. It's like, hey, what'd I miss?
What? But of course, what really happened, Dragon? Who? Like what happened?
It was Perry. It's Perry the Platypus wearing a Ferb mask. He disguised himself so he could steal the disc with no muss, no fuss. It's a shame you didn't think about that earlier.
Yep. But then we wouldn't have had an episode.
Would have saved him a lot of trouble, but we need Norm. We had a Norm quota.
Yes. Like, but of course, she still has the. Of course, Candace can still turn into Rocket, right?
And explodes. Thank goodness after they were off of it. Otherwise, it would have been another great reboot thing where Ferb would have seen his whole, two of his siblings just blow up in front of him.
With all with the fireworks and blood.
Yep. And that's it. This is how the episode would have ended. Okay, they would have blown up for the green. Throw up the graphic. Well, not the graphic. Put the banner. Okay.
Again.
So again, they're going to the bike, and it's like, okay, I'm just gonna go home, and everything's what he's thinking in his head. And of course, then they blow up. Fireworks. Like spatter. And of course, the episode, like the music is building and building as like you have like the little ringing in his ears, and he sees what's happened. He goes, "Yeah!" It's the loudest that Ferb has ever been. And that's the end of the episode. Credits. To quote the great Kevin Smith.
Credits.
All right. So yeah, that's the episode. But of course, before it ends out, we have Perry returning, and he gives Monogram the disc. Mission accomplished. And Jacob, how do they destroy that disc?
Well, a very intricate technique, which of course can only be handled by the interniest of interns.
Carl.
Yes. And what Carl does, he takes some tongs, grabs the disc, and throws it and just drops into the nearby wastebasket.
Like a very leisurely drop too. He didn't just like throw it or anything. He just like drop.
And then of course Perry's like, "Why do I work for these people again?"
Yeah. We know they don't pay really well or give him good vacation time, so it's really a shame.
I mean, he actually does get paid pretty well.
It's funny. He gets paid really well, but they don't give him vacation time though.
But of course, Lawrence, of course, like as for a favor, Perry has Lawrence's traffic tickets cleared. Like, I guess there's someone up there looking out for me. Yep, and there he is.
Lastly, we have Norm. Norm about to join Alka for a bit. But seeing Norm in that hat's really funny.
It's like, and the new guy goes, "My name is Norm."
Oh, we should talk about the agent who is not there.
It's like, oh yeah, it's like they're doing the animal song earlier. It's like the goes, and the cat goes, and the dog goes, and the turkey goes. And the dog goes, "Sir, we lost Agent T last November."
That is such a great dark joke.
It's like, oh.
Now here's the question: do you think they lost him like on a mission, or do you think they lost him like in the commissary on Thanksgiving?
That's a great question.
Do you think Monogram's such a monster? He just throw it up one more time, Jacob.
He's like, I don't think Monogram would be involved in that.
Are you sure it could Monogram be so monstrous? It's like, oh, Carl, or here's the thing: what if it was half and half? What if it was like, Carl, I want you to make us all a nice Thanksgiving dinner. Okay. And you have like in like the locker room somewhere, you have locker room somewhere like Agent T's like taking off the hat for a bit, like he's about to get in the shower or something. This is like, oh look, a turkey.
Oh, no.
Monogram's unknowingly he's eating like an agent with like a wife and 3 kids.
Oh God.
Then Carl just one day is like walking to the locker room, he's like, oh, someone lost their hat. Never knowing the truth.
It's like Ellie B's here. She's like, I love to come in and see some discussion of how much jobs pay, as it should be. Yeah, that was pretty damn gritty on its own, referring to the turkey thing.
Oh yeah. Okay, that's the end of the episode.
All right, next up is Bowlarama Drama, story by Bobby Gaylor, Martin Olson, written by Chris Hedrick, Alex Almager, and directed by Dan Bobenmeyer. So I should remove the comment. So Dragon, I kind of have a feeling how you're coming down on this one, but why don't you put into your own words?
Yeah, I love this episode, mainly from kind of the invention design aspect of it. I also like bowling, so that's kind of cool.
I didn't know you were a bowling guy.
Well, I don't really bowl myself. I just I have history. I've been around bowling alleys, and they're kind of cool.
Oh, nice. Have you seen the Big Lebowski?
Yeah.
Again, obviously a lot of bowling in that one.
Yeah, I mean it's not like a. I don't like that just because of the bowling.
I know. I'm just saying there's a subplot in there.
True. I mean, I think deep down it's maybe a reason I really like the Flintstones, but
John Goodman.
Yeah.
Anyway.
I meant the bowling thing, but
yeah. I know.
Yeah.
I'm just saying there's a connection between those two.
No, you're right. There is.
But either way, it's like so.
Those men are cowards, Donnie. It's going to be okay. Such a beautiful moment when he's like, I'm scared. Like, no, don't worry, Donnie. They're cowards. It's gonna be fine. It's like the one nice thing he says to him.
Oh god.
Anyway, so but yeah, this is but yeah, this is really cool. I love that. It's I'm head over heels for this bowling ball design.
Like it's just a giant bowling ball that you can ride in.
Oh yeah.
It's like it even has like a built-in gyro stabilizer, so you can. So if you want to, make sure not to activate it, or else you'd be rolling around going crazy.
Yeah. Don't hit the stop function on it.
Maybe they should have just gone with a simple joystick design.
And in retrospect, maybe, but it's a roller ball, man. You kind of need it for the ball.
Yeah, like yeah, I guess that might help steer it in an instant in an instant.
It worked for Pac-Man.
Yeah, that is true.
Then again, Pac-Man also had a joystick, so I guess. Well, wait a minute. Actually,
Yeah,
no, yeah, it did some though. I guess Pac-Man does have a joystick too, as well. So yeah.
yeah, most arcade games do have those.
Oh, yeah, that's true. I'm saying there's like two versions of Pac-Man, one with the joystick and one with the little roll, the trackball.
Oh, I know. I don't remember one with the trackball.
Yeah, no, there's a trackball version of Pac-Man. Yeah.
I don't doubt it. I just never really went to an arcade.
Yeah.
Well, I've been to like Dave and Buster's, but that's like more modern than like the old school retro stuff. They have like more stuff than just like joystick arcades.
I'll say, if a memory serves, I think I played Pac-Man with the trackball at a bowling alley.
Huh. So it comes full circle.
Well, spherical in this case, but yeah.
Yeah, full spherical. It's spherical.
It is. Yeah, I know you're talking about.
It's the game sphere. It's spherical.
Good old Josh Peck.
Exactly. When I was younger, I never knew that was a reference to the GameCube because I didn't know what the GameCube was.
Really? You never knew? Oh, okay.
I didn't know what the GameCube was.
Well, I was thinking more Xbox, but
I mean, it was literally Game Sphere versus GameCube.
Oh no, you're right. I just meant like in general, like the idea, how like this, like the box, like the shape, the whole shape gimmick. But yeah.
But anyway, back.
You're right. It's directly a GameCube reference. You're not wrong at all.
Like I said, I didn't know what a GameCube was. But anyway, so back to bowling.
Okay, so let's see. So mom and dad have a bowling date going on here. Candace, meanwhile, she has something similar. She's all spherical and wheels and circles. This episode, she's going on a Ferris wheel, ends up going to a ball.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. And mom and dad are going bowling, and the boys ask to use the lawn bowling set, which they get a yes and they get permission on it. I got to admit, in the rewatch for a moment, I wondered, oh my god, are we really going to do this thing where like we're going to turn like the little lawn set into the giant bowling ball? And we didn't do that because they were all set to do something else in refurbishment with that thing. And then Baljeet mentioned like the world's largest bowling ball, and they got the idea, let's top it, man. Let's go full Raiders on it.
It's like in the book of world, like most pointless book of world records. Doo-doo.
Little nod to Guinness.
Yep, and of course with fanfare every time. provided by Buford. Is that really necessary? What? Is it bugging you? A little? Then yeah, it's necessary.
It's a good joke.
Yep.
Buford doesn't do a lot this episode, but when he shows up, he shows up.
Yep, that he does. So anyway, like after Baljeet explains that the world's largest bowling ball is only 4 feet in diameter, he's like, we can beat that in our sleep.
And they did. They literally built it in their sleep.
Yep, they fell asleep right next to it, and they're like, "Yeah, what do you know? We did do it in our sleep."
That's how Christopher Nolan can direct sometimes.
In his sleep.
Well, yeah. How else do you think Inception got made?
It's like, Chris, you okay?
I'm fine. Just give me more tea.
Are you sure?
I'm trying to sleep. Spin the top and don't bother me.
Like, Chris, shouldn't you at least open your eyes for this? No. I know what I'm doing.
Make this movie with my eyes closed.
Yes. And now and I wonder if he's using that process for Oppenheimer.
I think so.
All right then. I wonder if he's ever going to go back to Warner Brothers, considering they kind of want him back.
Well, of course they want him back. They're not dummies.
I know, but do you think he's actually going to follow through with
I think
it?
the real question is, are they releasing Barbie out of spite for Christopher Nolan?
Maybe I don't know.
See, Chris, you broke our hearts when you left. Now Barbie's gonna take all your lunch money.
I mean, honestly, I'm more excited to see Oppenheimer.
Well, I know we all are, Jake. I'm just saying, still financially, I think the
He said,
Barbie movie's gonna
I
happen.
mean, I mean, Tiggy says he's more interested in seeing, more excited to see Barbie.
Yeah, I get you. Did you see the new trailer for Oppenheimer?
I mean, which one?
Well, I don't know. I think it's the first I think there are two trailers out. At least
Is
to
it
my,
the is it the one that ends in like the black and white footage,
I
or do
think
they
so.
or do they both end in black and
I
white?
don't know. It was. I think they both might. I don't know. It was a really intense trailer. It was like it felt like a Fuller trailer, Jake. Whatever the new one was, it was a Fuller kind of thing.
Now you can explain it to me.
You saw more of the cast. Did you see more of the cast? I think you saw a little bit of Downey Jr. in there. Like, did you?
I think so.
Yeah, that's. I think that's the one. That's the recent one.
I mean, but well, we can wax poetic about Nolan and his newest escapades all day, but we should
All
probably
right.
get
So
back
let's
to
talk
your.
about the real thing here. Let's talk about. So again, the we have the thanks to Baljeet and that whole world record thing.
Yep.
We have the giant bowling ball, the world's largest bowling ball, and it is one of the coolest things I've ever seen. I'm serious. I was gobsmacked when I saw this thing. Being the gadget nut that I am, is like, oh, look at that! I love everything about this design. I love the sleekness. I love the fact it's got like this cool, like little spherical, this
Spherical.
yep, little. It's got the spherical design, but it has like the little, almost like you saw in All Over Ant Man 3 when you looked at like the little circuit, kind of like the disc pattern on the side, where that's kind of where the latch is for the retracting. Well, I guess the ejecting door mechanism. I love the ejecting door mechanism that's built into the thing. It has like a really awesome chair in there, and it has like this control panel. In the control panel, you have the trackball that steers it. You have monitors on the inside. This thing is cushy and wonder. If it's air conditioned, it's perfect.
Like, yeah. I mean, I kind of figured that'd be your reaction when you kind of practically begged me to make this the thumbnail.
I mean, pretty
I mean,
much. But also, we didn't see Norm's face on the other one. But yeah.
yeah, I know.
So yeah, there's a lot of love for this thing, unabashedly. But here's like I love it. I love like the little score terminal, little bowling area. I don't know what it's called. I my nickname it the score terminal, like little area where you keep the score. They also have built on the lawn. However, I love all this. I will jokingly call this utter BS, though. The fact that we have all these amazing things that are very practically built and just kind of added there. You buy, they built these awesome things and they have them there. But here's one thing: there's no way in the amount of time they had to be able to do this. The the reset function is built into the ground. It's in like outside the grass of the ground. You have like little pins come up. And it's like okay, that's it. There's no truth to this art. It's like I'll go for the giant ball, I'll go for the score terminal, but no, no, no. The pins just come out of the ground randomly. Like everything else is practical in there. All you needed to do is like Jacob put up the image for the creators. I want to message him right now.
All right, hold on.
Dan Swampy, guys, how could you envision something so perfect, so tactile, so simple, so giant bowling ball? It's lawn bowling on a grand scale. Like we shrunk everyone, made the ball giant. Big old bowling ball, big old pins, little score terminal. All that looks amazing, and yet you had to take the leap. You just had to fly so close to the sun, didn't you? Just had to fly so close to the sun. What would be really cool if we do like the little pin set? We built it into the lawn. I say false, sirs, false. How? There's no way they have time to dig up a little platform for the grass to have it fit perfectly. Why are they hiding it? If they're not afraid of anyone finding out. It's just that there's no truth to this art, man. That's where you lost me. Good day, sirs.
Sure, that's where you draw the line.
Exactly, Jacob. That's where I draw the line in this show. With a platypus that wears a hat and a giant bowling ball.
Remember the time they built a giant beach in their backyard?
That I do. That I do. But you know what, Jacob? That's additive. That's not subtractive.
Yeah, I mean, okay.
We're adding. We're not subtracting. We're adding a whole bunch of sand and everything, dumping it there. We're breaking the dimensional bounds of space on that one. But again, some things, at least like okay, the boys are adding on to something, but like hey, we have to add some fine craftsmanship here to dig a hole, and we're gonna hide it. And again, the fact they should not. And again, this is all very minor quibbles, folks. I'm just saying something that kind of occurred to me on the rewatch. I'm making a meal out of right now. Just want to get that in there. Okay. Anyway, Candace, she sees this and she does the usual thing. She wants to bust them, but we do it in a more interesting way this time.
She actually, yeah, she actually comes to the realization that it'll just be gone by the time she gets back. So instead, she takes advantage of this of the bowling ball's mobility, and takes care of it herself.
But also, she has that little fantasy, a little bubble where ultimately Candace all she wants is credit from mom, and literal credit from dad with his credit cards.
It's like, you have our permission to ruin us financially. And of course, Jeremy's in there too.
Yeah, proposing marriage.
Of course.
Okay,
Which, of course, as established, is a dream.
I will call this out.
Yeah.
It really hurt my feelings when Candace, when she's going to bust them and everything, she leaves. She destroyed that beautiful like score terminal, man. I thought that was mean. I'm not even really joking about this. I think that was a really uncalled for thing that Candace did. She didn't need to destroy that terminal. That was like there's busting the boys, and then there's like she broke something they built, and like very callously, very just like not intentionally, but still just very much. I'm just gonna destroy anything that's in my way there, which it's not nice.
I mean, I think you'd be more concerned about the fact that she almost ran over Ferb.
Yeah, but he'll be fine.
It's like, oh yeah, it's like yeah, the heaven forbid Ferb almost get run over in the desk. That's the real tragedy.
But now that you bring it up, though,
Gritty
bring up
reboot.
the Grady reboot.
Okay.
So Candace is just like, I'm finally gonna get him. I'm finally gonna get him, and she's rolling that track ball like it's going out of style. When she does, there's the terminal, and there's a crunch, but there's also a little bump, like, and she doesn't look back until she hears Phineas cry out, "Ferb!" She turns around and she looks out the window, and she's got a decision to make. Do I flee the scene of the accident? Like what do I do now? She sees she sees her brother lying dead and motionless in her other brother's arms, and she decides, well, can't go to mom and dad. I'm just gonna keep going. She keeps going, and basically like the boulder from that SpongeBob episode, she kind of just kind of keeps going in an instant, and she's basically goes off into the distance, and she basically settles in the I guess the deep wilds of the jungle, and eventually that bowling ball accumulates a great amount of dust and debris and everything. There a little bit of rock formation starts, and then one day a brave archaeologist tries to steal a fertility goddess idol, and she rolls down this giant chasm, like awakened and given hope after years of looking for glorious purpose. And there she goes. She's like, I. I killed my brother who had an adventurous spirit. This man angers me. I'm going to end him. Because at this point, it's like, what's one more?
Oh God.
Yeah.
Like Ellie B says this though. Ferb is unmovable and unkilled.
That's true. Yeah, it's basically even if she'd run him over, he'd be fine. He should be burrowed into the ground for a moment.
It's like ouch. I mean, that's probably what would happen if she actually did go over him. It would probably just be funny, just go like, ouch. But not in the gritty reboot though.
Nope. Consequences.
Consequences. All right. Should we check in on Doofenshmirtz?
Yeah.
Well, first off, we have Perry trying to enter his lair, but Carl's fixing the tube.
Let's bring up the Carl graphic.
Carl graphic, all right.
Well, Carl did it again. He did it again. Carl.
Carl.
Let's see who's the better tube replacer of the bunch here.
It's like, I don't know. Considering his penchant for technology, I'm gonna go with the robot again.
We can't keep going with the robot.
Okay. Oh yeah, I know. Okay. What about the minion then?
You know what? Let's go with the minion.
The
Let's
minion.
go Carl the minion.
I mean, Carl the robot can just do anything.
Yeah.
So I guess he's too easy. He's too easy. He's too easy of a pick.
True.
But of course, Herman the Hedgehog then falls out of the same tube.
I forgot his name. So his name's Herman the Hedgehog?
Yep, that's what the song says.
Okay.
Herman the Hedgehog! Yep. So, of course, we hear Doofenshmirtz's plan, which relates to freezing technology and a lot of hot chocolate.
All right, so we go into the lair. Perry gets frozen, and Doofenshmirtz late.
At Doofenshmirtz's abandoned self-storage.
Storage.
Yes. Love it.
So, Doofenshmirtz lays out his plan to a frozen Perry, and this plan is dumb yet kind of hilarious.
It's like he will sell his patented Doofenshmirtz hot chocolate, which is supposed to be delicious. Hopefully, it's better than his actual chocolate. I
hope so.
I don't think it contains fish. It's like Carlson's probably the most versatile pick, even if he's not always the best. Yeah, that is true. But from what I can tell, at least this hot chocolate didn't contain fish. So
Yep.
it's always like his plan is to sell like the first cup for free, but then the second cup also for free. But then the third cup, Dragon, he'll sell that cup for $1 million.
Such a dumb plan, but
it's like so next still 3 cups and I'll already be a millionaire.
he wants easy money. That Doofenshmirtz.
LEB would drink the cocoa.
I love the giant mug of cocoa it has. Is like the idea that in this montage, you're like, I'm gonna have a giant mug of cocoa. It'll bring get everyone's attention. They're like, oh, look at a giant cup of cocoa. Yeah, I see what that's all about. And then they're going to be thirsty. It's like when you're thirsty in the hot weather, you see a fountain. It's like, oh boy, I could really go for a drink.
Yeah, I mean, you can't argue with his logic. I mean, the whole $1 million thing is a bit of a stretch, but
yeah.
But that's of course Doofenshmirtz for you. And of course, to help him with this plan, he built an army of giant robotic penguins.
Yep. Also, these giant penguin bots. They're like the icy freeze your socks off breath-inator thingies.
Yes.
Yeah.
Which we're gonna just call them icinators or whatever, or just penguins.
Yep.
10 giant robot penguins.
Meanwhile, Candace runs amok throughout the city.
And of course, with Doofenshmirtz is like, as he says goodbye, it's like, as I said down in Mexico, Pat was dos vidania.
Oh God, what a
down there. That's 2 vidanias. Do you know what language that actually is?
Yeah, it's Russian.
Yep, it's like goodbye in Russian.
Yeah,
I didn't. When I first saw that, I didn't know that what it actually was. I knew it obviously wasn't Spanish. You learn something new.
Mm-hmm.
Dos vidania. Anyway, so Candace is going amok, but until eventually things go awry.
It's a pinball panic. She basically, that button gets hit. I mean, did we see the button get hit right?
Basically, it doesn't hit until like the song begins, and until like during the song, like where the ball like comes loose and then it starts bouncing around and then it lands on the gyroscope lock button.
Right. So it runs wild, then it turns into a full-on pinball game, which is really cool. How we turned the natural city design into a pinball machine. That is a really cool visual idea.
Yep, and of course they're trying to use it to get another world record.
Yep. So they end up getting 2 world records. Giant, world's biggest game of pinball, and then just the world's largest bowling ball, and of course two world records in one day. That's a new world record. It's 3 world records.
It's a good thing they capped it off there because that would just lead to an infinite amount of world records.
That is true. So, meanwhile, Isabella, we check in with our old friend Shady Joe.
It's like, yeah, but who's running a carnival scam game?
I love the fact that she has a history of this guy. Like a rapport with like Shady Joe. It's like, oh, your usual, yep.
And of course, it's like, I'm feeling lucky today.
Mm.
And of course, as we can see, like he has like the bottles like nailed to the platform so they won't fall over.
Oh yeah.
But then of course, like when he's turned around, the bowling ball comes through and destroys it. Like, help yourself. Anything off the top shelf. It's like she pulled a little scam of her own.
Yeah.
Which, to be fair, is fair, considering that what he's doing.
Oh no, for sure. Like they didn't make a fuss or anything. They'll take it top shelf, take it.
It's like just take whatever you want.
Yep.
Okay,
so
it's fair. I mean, those carnival games are usually scams anyway.
as much as I like this episode, I do call something does occur to me. The resolution and everything was a little. Perry, he redirects. Resolution things are a little too easy in a couple of regards. One, how Perry escaped was like, it's a shame that Perry, he's kind of shifting his weight and somehow he made that mug fall, but I really wish it was like Candace roaming through the city caused it to fall. That would have made more sense to me.
Yeah, I can see where you're coming from on that.
It's very simple. They didn't even have to show it. They just have to imply, like, you're like, and it would have, there you go. That's all you needed. But anyway, so there's that. But more so Perry swoops and he's doing some awesome grappling hook swinging. That's really cool. I love that.
It's always this cool to see Perry using his grappling.
Yeah, I'm a sucker for a good grappling hook too. So
Well, I mean, I kind of figured considering who your favorite fictional character is.
Yes. Now I noticed there is I think they're a little off model during the collision. Like it's like the angle of Doofenshmirtz. Like in the animation, as far as the animation goes, it looks like there's a little bit of an off model collision between our stories, and they literally collided thanks to Perry the Platypus. Like when we see Doofenshmirtz like screaming, it's like his face looks a little off here.
I didn't even really notice.
Anyway, so we have this real. It's kind of amazing. So they collide and they all end up like flying towards the sky and just exactly where they need to be.
And of course, the penguins are all lined exactly like bowling pins,
Which is great.
Yep, tying the whole thing together.
Yep. Anyway, so
I guess they tying it together like a rug.
Yeah. All right, so everything works out, and then we talk about the mysterious penguin man.
It's like is he a penguin? Is he a unique logic defying amalgam of penguin and man? There's only one way to look to find out.
I love them. If you look at the little flyer, it looks like a great caricature of Doofenshmirtz as a penguin. It's really funny.
Yeah, and of course it's just Doofenshmirtz wearing having the robot penguin on his head.
I used to have goals.
They were evil goals, but they were goals.
Right. That's the episode.
Yep. One of my other favorite gags in this is like just when Ferb moved the guy to avoid getting splattered by fruit. I don't know. I just thought you just like move the guy over to this side, and then basically it's like here, just stand here, and then. I used to have goals. Anyway, so 2 strong contenders, 2 strong episodes this week. One with traffic cam capers and one with giant bowling balls. So it seems to me that the bowling ball one was definitely your favorite of this week.
Yeah.
So, it's a good one. Yeah. I mean, of course, the bowling ball it's sleek, it's neat. I mean, Something like this could probably theoretically exist in reality if they like devoted technology to it. I mean,
Yep.
I wonder if something like that actually could exist.
I mean, yeah, we had like those. We saw those gyrospheres in Jurassic World. I know there's still a movie, but it's the fact that, like, we're getting there, at least in theory.
Like, one of these days, they'll just reinvent the technology for giant bowling balls.
Yeah.
but, but until then, we'll just have to make do with this.
Hmm.
All right, so that does it for this week. So join us next time on the Phineas and Ferb Recap-inator, where Ferb's ancestor helps build a monster, to which Mert's ancestor becomes a monster, and we get to see some giant painting. Good night, everybody. I used to have goals.
They are evil goals, but still goals.